Welcome to today's Explainer. We're looking at a brilliantly concise, single-sentence financial manifesto today. It's short, sure, but it completely redefines how we manage our personal finances. You know that universal problem, the absolute fatigue of asking, wait, where did all my money go? At the end of every single month? Yeah, we've all been there. And a lot of us are just exhausted by traditional budgeting apps that basically act as a rearview mirror, just telling us what we did wrong in the past. This approach, it flips that entirely. Okay, let's dive into this and unpack exactly what zero-based budgeting is all about. Does every dollar you earn actually have a job? I'm asking you this directly to frame a completely new perspective. Think about your income not as some passive resource, not just a big, lazy pool of water sitting in your checking account, but as an active, highly capable workforce. Literally, every single dollar is an employee waiting for instructions from you, the boss. If you aren't giving them instructions, well, they're just standing around doing absolutely nothing. And let me tell you, unemployed dollars tend to get into trouble. They wander off to buy expensive lattes, they get sucked into the black hole of forgotten streaming subscriptions, or they just magically turn into late-night online impulse buys. And that brings us to the foundational concept derived straight from our source text, zero-based budgeting. As the text defines it, this is a Chinese-inspired method of assigning 100% of your income to specific tasks before the month even begins. Now, this isn't just about tracking your spending, it's about proactive, aggressive allocation. That one sentence is incredibly dense. It basically holds the entire secret to this strategy. So to really grasp why this framework is such a real game changer compared to standard budgeting, we're going to do a complete, deconstructive breakdown of every single phrase in this definition. Section 1. Giving every dollar a job. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the absolute intentionality here. Every single dollar gets a specific task. There is zero room for ambiguity. No dollar is allowed to just sit idle. You don't just have a general money pile. Ambiguity is literally the enemy of wealth building. When you just have a big pile of cash sitting in your checking account, Parkinson's law kicks in, which states that your expenses will inevitably expand to fill the available money. Intentionality breaks this law. You assign a dollar to groceries, a dollar to rent, and a dollar to your emergency fund. This level of intentionality is exactly what transforms a chaotic bank account into a highly efficient financial machine. Moving on to Section 2, the Chinese-inspired method. See, this strategy isn't just a basic mathematical equation. Our source specifically identifies it as a Chinese-inspired approach to income, and that implies a deeply structural, disciplined mindset when it comes to personal finance. It's a cultural framework that values foresight, precision, and an immense respect for the utility of money. So what does that respect actually look like in practice? Well, it means you don't treat income as a license to consume immediately. You treat it as a tool to build security. It's a structured way of life applied directly to your wallet, purposefully shifting your mindset away from instant gratification and toward long-term stability. Which brings us to Section 3, assigning 100%. So the crucial point is this exact number, 100%. Not 95%, not 99%. You must assign every single cent of your income, without a single exception. Often, people try to leave a little, 5% buffer in their checking account, just in case. But human psychology is funny, isn't it? That buffer inevitably becomes a slush fund. Your brain sees it as extra money, and boom, it gets spent on non-essentials. If you make exactly $3,422 a month, you must create a plan for exactly $3,422. This strict mathematical rule actually acts as a vital behavioral guardrail. And this brilliantly illustrates that when 100% of the income is assigned to specific tasks, it leaves precisely 0% unassigned. Hence the name zero-based budgeting. When you subtract your planned tasks from your total income, the math proves the result must equal absolute zero. If there are mysterious dollars left floating around in the ether, they won't stay there for long. Unassigned money just has this strange habit of magically transforming into extensive takeout food or spontaneous weekend purchases. By leaving absolutely nothing unassigned, you are actively sealing the leaks in your financial ship. Now for Section 4, savings first, expenses second. Our source text gives us a very clear two-step order of operations here. Step 1, savings. Step 2, expenses. And you do not deviate from this order. You walk through your income and you fund Step 1 completely before you even think about funding Step 2. Now, this requires serious discipline. There's a real psychological friction when you move money into your savings or investments before you've even paid the rent or the utility bills. It feels uncomfortable at first, for sure, but leaning into that friction is a vital mindset shift, forcing you to literally prioritize your future self over your current lifestyle. Because think about it, this completely flips traditional budgeting on its head. Consider how most people operate. They use what I call the hope and pray method. They pay their expenses first, handling the bills, the groceries, the lifestyle costs, and then they cross their fingers and hope there's a little bit left over for savings at the end of the month. We all know exactly how that story ends, right? The car needs a repair, or there's a huge clearance sale, and suddenly that hopeful savings contribution vanishes entirely. By securing your financial future up front as your absolute highest priority, you guarantee that you actually save, forcing you to adjust your expenses to fit what's left rather than the other way around. Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 5, before the month begins. Consider the proactive timeline of when this entire process must happen. You have to sit down and assign 100% of your income, doing savings first and then expenses, completely before the new month actually starts. You cannot plan the month while you're already in the middle of it. If you're trying to make financial decisions on the first or second of the month, actually scratch that. Even by the first, you are already too late. You're merely reacting. By requiring you to map everything out beforehand, you remove in-the-moment emotion. You aren't tempted by immediate, fleeting desires because the cool, calm, proactive logic of your past self has already laid down the tracks. Let's bring this all together and review the complete quote from our source text one more time. Assigning 100% of your income to specific tasks, savings first, then expenses, before the month even begins. Notice how beautifully all these conceptual elements interlock. The 100% rule prevents the waste of a slush fund. The strict hierarchy ensures you pay yourself first. And the proactive timing keeps your daily emotions completely out of the driver's seat. It's not just a mathematical formula, it's a comprehensive, airtight behavioral shield for total financial clarity. Which leaves us with this final, thought-provoking question. If the month started tomorrow, what job would your dollars have? I challenge you to apply this zero-based strategy to your own wallet today. Don't let your money sit around unemployed. Give it a job, secure your savings, and take total control before the calendar turns. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.